So. Okay. Neues Spiel. Custom. What? Okay. Das ist interessant. Scenario Narrative. Limited Perception. Mach mal. Medium. Tutorial. Ah ja, machen wir mal. Storyteile sind cool. Okay.
I remember training with my father in the years after the rat plague. Someday, he said, our enemies will come for you.
Moment. Hatten wir das letzte Spiel auf Deutsch? Kann das sein? Ich bin mir gar nicht mehr sicher. Scheint. Ne, komm. Okay.
The sounds and smells of Dunwall never change much. This is my city. What training regimen does Father have in store for me today?
Let's see what you can do.
Corvo?
If I get going fast enough, I can slide beneath that. Easy as cake.
Los, Corvo, schneller. Letztes Spiel war auf Deutsch.
You'll have to sprint, vault the obstacle, then slide under.
Did it. What's next? No way except to climb. If only I could spend every day running and jumping. Now to test my agility.
Ich einen Weg gegangen bin. Das kommt, glaube ich, noch. Also ich bin jetzt gerade noch im Tutorial.
You've learned well. Let's see how quiet you are, young lady. I want you to sneak up on me, if you can.
But.
That's my girl. Don't let me hear you or see you.
Ups.
Not sneaky enough for me.
Ja, aus Versehen gesprintet, sorry.
I've got to sneak to get through this. Didn't see anything at all.
Even
Quiet as a lynx stalking a gazelle.
You, even if you're at the edge of their peripheral vision. Remember, a pistol will wake up everyone in the building. Your crossbow is quiet. Perfect shot. Time for some more weapons and combat training. Let's beat each other up, shall we?
Okay.
Yes. You get home. That's my daughter.
Tochter?
When someone swings a sword at you, block. Good. Well done. Very good. You've got a natural instinct for fighting. If you time your block right, you'll throw an enemy off balance. You're quick.
Oops.
Block with your blade. Smart move. That'd stop even the most black-hearted killer. You can choke an enemy out, even in combat. Come on.
Okay.
When an enemy is off balance, you can land a lethal counterattack.
Hey.
When someone swings a sword at you, block. While they're off balance, deliver a fatal blow. Feel better knowing you can take care of yourself. When trouble does finally come, you're ready to fight.
Okay.
Why do we celebrate the anniversary of an assassination? 15 years ago, in the middle of a plague that nearly destroyed Dunwall, a paid killer assaulted the palace where I was born and stabbed my mother in the heart. In the aftermath, the men who sent the assassin tried to use me as a pawn in a game of power. They would have succeeded, but my father, Corvo Atano, hunted them down and cut their conspiracy to pieces. All these years later, am I the ruler my mother wanted me to be? Now, we face a new crisis. A monster the papers are calling the Crown Killer has been picking off my enemies and dressing it up like my father and I are responsible. I don't know whether to get on a ship and sail to the opposite side of the world, or to have everyone around me executed.
Watch your step, Majesty.
I'm not looking forward to all the ceremony today.
Your signet ring. There, you're ready.
Thank you, Alexei. Open the doors.
All hail Her Imperial Majesty, Emily Caldwin.
Loyal subjects, we're going through a difficult time, but today we honor my mother, the late Jessamine Caldwin. May her memory survive through the ages.
Emily.
You look tired, Father.
Every year, I think the anniversary of Jessamine's death will be easier, but it never is.
I wish Mother was still the Empress. I don't think I'm very good at this.
You're still learning. Don't worry about the rabble-rousers, and we'll catch the Crown Killer, eventually.
People are saying it's you. That these assassinations are a misguided effort to protect me.
No, someone's trying to make us look guilty by targeting your enemies.
I wish I could just run away from all this.
Sometimes you do. You think I don't know about your nights out on the rooftops? Courage. The ceremony will be over soon.
Royal Protector and Father. I should have passed a law against that combination of titles years ago.
Your Majesty, before we begin the day's observances, we have an unexpected visitor, the Duke of Serkonos.
Ramsay says the Duke is bringing special gifts.
That's intriguing.
Grace Luca Abel, Duke of Serkonos.
Mechanical soldiers? Amazing.
What is this, Ramsey? I didn't authorize those things.
Your Imperial Majesty and Royal Protector Corvo Atano, a native of our homeland. Serkonos offers condolences on this sorrowful day, and gifts to remind you of our nation, the rising star on the southern horizon.
We thank you, Your Grace.
Save your thanks. For now, I give you the greatest gift of all, family. I present the lost sister of Jessamine Caldwin, your rightful empress, Delilah Caldwin.
Impossible.
My mother had a sister?
My dearest niece, hello.
It's not true.
My father was Emperor Uhorn Jacob Caldwin, and Jessamine was my younger sister. At the time of her death, I wasn't ready to make myself known to you, and I was forced to leave Dunwall. But now I'm home.
If you really are my mother's sister, you're welcome to stay as long as you like.
Little sparrow, blackened by bad memories, I'm here to relieve you of your crown. My father's promise, whispered in secret so many years ago, is now fulfilled.
Watch your tongue. Emily Caldwin is the daughter of Empress Jessamine Caldwin.
Royal Protector, how naive to think you could get away with these murders. Living in my palace has protected you, but that's over. Hear me, all of you. Your rightful Empress has returned.
All hail the Empress Delilah, first of her name.
What?
Arrest Emily Caldwin and her father for the Crown Killer murder.
Ernsthaft? Oh!
Your sword can't still my heart.
Ooh. Ich tendiere mehr zu Emily. Irgendwelche Wünsche. Machen wir Emily.
I will cast you in cold marble. No! Sweet girl, over time you will come to love me. Perhaps someday you'll see me as the mother you lost. But until then, you'll be kept out of trouble.
I'll lock Lady Emily in her chambers, then I'll bring her to Cauldron Prison until her trial. My father lost it all when I was a boy, so now I wear this uniform, and I send 20-year-olds out to patrol the rose gardens instead of drinking with the men from the shooting club.
Captain Ramsey, I heard shouting. Lady Emily, what happened?
Are we all Captain Mayhew?
No!
So that's the Royal Protector's fancy weapon. What kind of sword folds in half?
Dass die anderen so schnell Seite gewechselt haben. Wow. war vielleicht vorher
There's a legend in the Tower Guard about the
abgesprochen
Empress's last
geplant.
resort, a safe room inside your chambers holding enough gold to buy a good-sized island. They say that this ring is one of the only 2 keys to exist.
What happened? Alexei. The throne room. Father. Nothing I can do alone. I need to get out of here.
Empress. After the Royal Protector's shakedown cruise, we launched the ISS Jessamine Caldwin just before the anniversary of your mother's passing, pending your approval, of course. On the platform, we'll have a bottle of King Street brandy, tied to a long tether, that you will release to swing out against the hull. What you say during the ceremony is of course up to you, but here are some ideas intended to serve as food for thought. May a brisk wind hurry you to shores near, far and fair. May you shelter your crew from the perils of the terrible ocean. May you always sail for Crystal, true of heart and homeward bound. Yours faithfully, advisor, Wainwright. Brocken. Empress, we face yet another murder, and I cannot remain silent on this matter. Strange it is not that all the victims have openly opposed you. If not strange, then also very convenient. Is there anything you wish to tell me, Majesty? How can I be an advisor if you don't include me in these most sensitive of endeavors? I feel I must be the only person in Dunwall who doesn't know the truth about the Crown Killer. Don't leave me out in the cold. I remain your trusted servant and advisor, Leonora Helmswater. Mein Kopf brennt. Ach. Passt schon. Nur ein bisschen warm. Empress presented for your approval the schedule for Middlesong's Eve. Morning wheel with Tivian Trade Commission presentation from the research vessel Loblolly Swift, just returned from newly discovered island chain of Pandician continent. Midday meal with dignitaries from Morley, who will present you with a gift in exchange for your attention to their complaints. Dedication and speech for new wing at the infirmary home for aged seafarers. Meeting with advisors on the issue of blood flies in the south. Evening meal with Lord Corvo at his request. Eric Plainstow, scheduling secretary. Ding ding. Komische Schreibmaschine.
I used to hide frogs in this old grandfather clock to drive the housekeepers mad. I thought life was complicated back then.
Ding ding ding. Oh, most esteemed Empress, as you know, freight from Sarkonos bound for Tivia is now routinely set upon by pirates or spoiled with blood flies. In addition to the loss of Tivian lives, be they crew, dock workers or shopkeepers, there's the material cost of the cargo itself, which can barely be calculated. If things continue unchecked, we will be forced to cease trading with Sarkonos and perhaps to even embargo ships from the southernmost isle altogether. But this need not come to pass. The Trade Commission is a reasonable body and has already considered remedies to ameliorate the situation. We seek the following. First, independent, qualified inspectors at all ports. Second, patrols to defend against pirates and smugglers. Third, compensation for the previous and future losses. It is this list of remedies that I wish to discuss with you in person. At the earliest possible opportunity. So far, your staff have resisted our efforts to establish a definitive time for negotiation. Prompt them to action, Majesty, for we are eager to travel to Dunwall. Until we can sit down and discuss this in a civilized fashion, I send you our best. Damien Shurjin, Principal, Tivian Trade Commission.
Should I just spin it and pick a place to hide for a while?
Yeah.
I need time to think. These bastards are working with Ramsey and the Duke of Serkonos. How many times have I looked at that skyline? It feels like everything just changed.
Oopsie.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
How many times have I looked at that skyline? It feels like everything just changed. Delilah is some sort of witch. How is this possible?
Lady Emily, you're all right. Where's the Royal Protector?
There's a coup underway. My father is... he's imprisoned, for lack of a better word.
You've got to get out of the tower. Through your safe room. There was a captain earlier today, down at the docks, looking for the Royal Protector. Find her. Get out of Dunwall.
Alexei, I'm sorry. Goodbye. I need my signet ring.
Getting so one can't even breathe no more.
These bastards are working with Ramsey and the Duke of Serkonos.
You're becoming the sovereign your mother wanted you to be, and I'm proud of you.
Good. Historical record of government positions and ranks. Addendum. Corvo, accused of assassinating the Empress he was sworn to protect. How unlikely he would not only overcome this shame, but then redeem himself so fully as to be named Royal Protector to yet another Empress. Those of us at the College of Histories were too fast to use pen against him. Yet let us not blame historians, for the evidence against Etano was nearly overwhelming. First, he is the only royal protector ever to have been born of an isle other than Bristol. His foreignness is not itself a crime, but added to the suspicions, the most forgiving of which was that he lacked the capacity to fully understand his duties. Second, he was caught quite red-handed, with bloody weapon, kneeling over the body of Empress Jessamine. Of course, it turns out that even this damning evidence was part of a clever plot to destroy the Empress and remove Etano from interfering with the ongoing plans of the Lord Regent's conspirators. And while I admit to publishing what are now clearly incorrect conclusions regarding Corvo Etano, I will not, as some of my colleagues have done, resign my position at our veritable organization, but instead I reassert myself in the endeavor of weeding out fact from fiction to produce the most salient histories possible.
Traitors.
Dunwall citizens express shock and fear as yet another outspoken critic of Empress Emily Caldwin has met with a violent demise. The latest victim is none other than Ichabod Boyle, notable entrepreneur and a supporter of the arts. Boyle recently wrote an opinion piece harshly criticizing the Empress for what he called her slipshod style of governance and her willful neglect of duties. Authorities are convicted the crown killer is the culprit, given the gruesome details left at the crime scene. As Her Majesty's most outspoken adversaries fall one by one to this notorious assassin, we boldly ask, is it now the duty of the Royal Protector to murder all who dare to criticize the throne? War da was in der Blutlache? Doch hier nicht. Ne. Oh, oh. Sorry. Nom nom.
I used to hide frogs in this old grandfather clock to drive the housekeepers mad. I thought life was complicated back then.
Install anyone who comes by. I'll be back when I've searched the royal chambers, assuming I don't accidentally
Watch
lock
over me.
myself in this damn...
Grant me the strength I
Cover
need.
for you if anyone from the Duke's party returns. This is exciting. Everything's changing.
Yes, the natural order is reasserting itself. The Ramseys once hosted the King and Queen of Morley, did you know that? I spent my childhood playing with the Buntings and the Boyles, cream of society.
And very soon you'll be back at the top, Captain.
Cream to the top.
Ramsay's family fell from the aristocracy, and apparently the man holds a grudge. How it's my fault, that's beyond me. But one way or another, Ramsay is too dangerous to be left in play. This won't leave my hand again. Anton Sokolov made this lock.
Oh.
I spent so many nights in here after the rat plague. I'll need this.
Except for a book on sailing, traditions, and scrimshaw. Bone charms, a sailor's blessing, they say. The carving itself is a practice from long back, passed from salty docks to young greenhorns still finding their sea legs. In old times, sailors cut into the tusks of ice seals and into the arm-long fangs of the bears that roamed the islets north of Tibia. Once the whaling trade began, the practitioners began engraving the bones of those great beasts, rendering charms that sing in the night and grant some small boon, increasing a lover's vigor or providing defense against pregnancy. Normal citizens express shock and fear as yet another outspoken... Okay.
The Crown Killer must be connected to all this, with the Duke and Delilah. I have a feeling I'll need these.
Emily, I didn't want to wake you this morning, but you'll forgive me. since we must have said goodbye 100 times yesterday night. And the only chance I get to see you with your hair all whichever way is while you're asleep. As soon as the sun rises, you'll put on your Empress face. It makes me happy that I know your real face, the one that laughs at our silly rhymes. I don't want to go back to Morley, but I'm needed there. It'll be 4 months before we see each other again. I'll miss you, and yes, I'll bring you some white-leaf tobacco from your hookah. Lord Corvo is, if you're reading this letter as per your royal protector functions, know that I am joking and perfectly aware that the white-leaf tobacco is forbidden in Bristol. Take care, my darling Emily. Don't go falling from a rooftop. I love you, Wyman. Corvo Adano. His parents were older at the time of his birth, and his father died in a lumber accident outside the city when Corvo was still young. Around that time, his only sibling, a firstborn sister, moved away to Morley, and the family subsequently lost all contact with her. Only 16, Corvo dazzled the people of Karnaca when he entered and won the annual Blade Verbena. The spectators from all over Serkonos were thrilled to see someone so young and striking from a working-class family advance through duel after duel, eventually taking the prize. This unexpected outcome secured Corvo a junior officer ranking in the Grand Serkonan Guard. As a soldier, he was involved in a number of conflicts against organized criminal groups, rogue city-states within Serkonos, and pirate bands along the chain of islands radiating east from Serkonos. Sent from his homeland at the age of 18 by the Duke of Serkonos, then Theodanis Abel, father of Luca Abel, Corvo was assigned to serve the Emperor in Dunwall as a diplomatic gift. His Serkonan heritage made him a bit of an outsider in Dunwall, but the capital city must have seemed exotic and full of old-world mystery. A few months after he moved to Dunwall, it is recorded that Corvo received word that his mother had passed away several weeks after his departure from Karnak. Golden cat. Einhörner. Nee. Alicorn.
Old Samuel made this. I'm glad he didn't live to see me driven out of Dunwall Tower. The reserves won't help against Delilah, even if I had a way to carry it all out of here.
No.
I better take these.
Whispers from the Void. Treatise on the physical existence of that foreign realm. Excerpt. It is a common story. A person has stopped breathing, pinned under carriage wheels or some other tragic happenstance, and is thought to be dead. But when the weight is removed, they make a quick recovery. But nonetheless, for a moment or two, this person was lost to us, lost to the world itself. And what did they experience while in this temporary death? Darkness? Nothingness? No, indeed not. They tell us, as so many before have, that they were in a particular place and can describe it vividly. And who among us does not know the place? Have we not all seen it in our dreams? This place we share, in the farthest reaches of our minds, the realm where nothing makes sense, where one is at once both lost and at home, the void. Whispers from the void. Physical existence, blah, 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 blah. These little glimpses of the void in dreams, or described by those awoken from comas, are not limited to select few. In my interviews, I've gleaned that there is not a single citizen without such vision, at one time or another. This, then, must be a real place, not folklore or mass delusion. Perhaps it exists deep below the earth, or far above it. Perhaps it is right next to us, but hidden. Some trick of the light, or wondrous curtain bars us from fully knowing it, and we all but wait for a natural philosopher to unlock the phenomenon, to show us how to see it or at will. But when so revealed, it will not be a fearsome place any longer, not the distant and special realm described in the myth of the outsider. It will be strange, yes, even unsettling, but nonetheless it will be a new realm for us to explore and eventually conquer. What new treasures await us there? Are the lakes made of liquid diamond? Clouds of weightless silver gas? And what things we would learn?
Ramsey deserves my attention.
Echt? Cannot leave the tower. I need to deal with Ramsey first. Okay.
Now you've got what you wanted, Ramsey. The Imperial suite atop Dunwall Tower. Stay put until this is all set straight, Ramsey. Enjoy the rations and well water, sleeping next to a fortune.
Ja. Okay. Ja, ich werd versuchen, wieder in der Hauptstory so das Chaos relativ niedrig zu halten.
Until I understand this, I have to go into hiding. I should make my way to the docks.
Soweit es mir möglich ist. Tower of Dunwall. For over a century, Dunwall Tower has been the capital of the Isle of Crystal, and the seat of power across all the isles of the Empire. Rulers have come and gone, each adding something to the structure. Gardens, observatories, new walls, pools, and specialized interior chambers to suit their needs and whims. Dunwall Tower has withstood numerous wars, several large-scale fires, and the collapse and rebuilding of the northern wing. With Tivy and Sarkonos joining the Empire first, it was Morley that resisted longest. Some of the conflicts that arise also necessitate the further fortification of the tower. Repeated assassination attempts near the end of the conflict with Morley resulted in the creation of the Royal Protector position, with each with each ruler choosing his or her own royal protector after careful consideration. Empress Jessamine Caldwin. Perhaps, in retrospect, other historians will see how easy it was for us to fall into the traps set by the schemers who managed the assassination of Empress Jessamine Caldwin. By allowing them to write history, it was for years thought that her trusted protector, Corvo Attano, was also her murderer. A concept we now know to be utterly false. Yet even after the tricksters themselves were put down, banished or imprisoned, it remained common knowledge that the royal protector was also Jessamine's murderer. How nicely they arranged history for us, and how readily we devoured their stories, hungry for each perfectly cooked morsel. But it is well past time for us to set aside this plate of lies. The schemers were not to be trusted with the Empire or with Jessamine's life, and they are certainly not to be trusted with the writing down of accurate histories.
Get out of Dunwall. Somehow Delilah turned my father to stone. I will find a way to undo it.
Attention, Dunwall citizens.
Bad news. Ramsey's missing. Corporal Moore checked the royal quarters, and
City's
Emily
crawling with the Duke's men.
We've got to find her. That's it. We've got your orders. Spread out and find the fugitive. We're in this with the Duke of Circano, sink or swim. There's no way to turn back now.
Tja.
What was that? My duties. Emily Caldwin. She's wounded. Let's finish her. I'll tear you to pieces. You aren't going anywhere. Take it.
Da lese ich das Tutorial Dropdown Tutorial Zeug und dann läuft er einfach weg.
Has been accused of high crimes against the state.
You're not fit for the watch uniform.
Was ist da jetzt?
I need to find a ship.
Delilah Caldwin is our new empress. All hail Delilah, first of her name.
Further, the former Empress, Emily Caldwin, is now wanted for treason. Any of you found harboring Emily Caldwin will be fined and arrested.
People of Dunwall, stay in your homes. You're advised to stay indoors during this time of unrest.
Gotta keep my mind on my duties. Forget about that kiss. That kiss.
Was? Oh, fuck!
Emily Coldwell.
Ja.
I've got to get away. I should talk to the captain.
I don't have time for that.
Road is blocked.
Who's this?
Out of the move.
Quiet. Show yourself.
She can't escape.
Hey! Move! Hey!
Who is your
Caramba. Wow. Haha.
Came here to warn the Royal Protector. Maybe too late. Lady, you want to hear what I've got to say. I guarantee it. Lady Emily, you won't get far with that face. Stamped on half the coins in the city.
There's a coup underway, and I'm being blamed for the Crown Killer murders. I don't care what my face looks like.
My name's Megan Foster. I work with an old ally of yours, Anton Sokolov. We learned something scary down in the south, and I came to warn you.
I know, Anton, but Corvo's gone. The Duke of Serkonos is here with a woman named Delilah. They massacred everyone in the throne room. Then she did something I can't explain. There was nothing to do but run.
Sometimes that's all you can do. This is my ship, the Dreadful Whale. We can head out as soon as you're ready.
I need to get to Karnaca where the Crown Killer murders started. Delilah must have been down there for a while, and I've got to figure out what's going on.
You're Corvo's daughter. I'll give you that. Should we go?
Okay, anscheinend sind wir tatsächlich die Tochter. Geh nach Karnaca.
Yes, I'm ready.
Das ist schön. Das habe ich mir gewünscht. Weil, ja, habe ich mir gewünscht. Im ersten Teil, da liest man so viel über diese anderen Länder und so. Und sieht einfach nichts. Okay.
Am I still aboard Megan's ship? It feels odd.
Oh, sehen wir gleich den Outsider. Ja.
What is this place? Where am I? I can feel something moving closer. What?
What? Hey.
Empress Emily Caldwin. I am a friend of your father's from the bad old days. I never expected us to meet. I watched your mother die at the hands of schemers who wanted your little empire. Then you were rescued by a man in a strange mask. I thought that was the end of the excitement. But someone yanked the rug from under your feet. You've lost your throne and your father. And I promise, Delilah won't just give them back. So, what are you prepared to do about it? Your Imperial Majesty? And are you clever enough to do it without spilling a river of blood? I asked Corvo those questions 15 years ago. This is the moment that changed him. Now it's your turn.
No powers mode? Nah.
It burns from the inside. I feel like I'm standing at the edge of something.
Ja, cool, dass wir tatsächlich die Wahl haben, ob wir wollen oder nicht.
Oh, the stories, they're true. Incredible. This is how I'm going to save my father and reclaim the throne.
Bet.
What is that? It feels familiar.
I know you. Do you remember? It's been so long, and you've been through so much. Even as an echo of myself, it's good to know you're there.
Mother? You're here, but you're not here. In my hand, but somewhere else.
Only the last of my essence, with you for a while. If only I could reach across this great expanse and take you into my arms. But I have this to offer. My gift and my curse. Summon me to your hand, and I will guide you when I can. There are no stars in the sky here. There is no sky. You shouldn't be here. No one should. In thousands of years, few have seen this place. 3 were empresses. There's a strange power in this place.
Who is Delilah really? How could she? I don't understand.
I will never walk in the sun again. I know it now.
There's no one quite like Delilah. I watched her pull herself up from blood and filth until she was in a position to steal from the wisest scholars in the Empire. Survival and ambition, art and magic, with a cunning that makes fawning sycophants of those around her, all of it leading to what you saw at Dunwall Tower. Delilah's playing the long game. She took all the abuse the world could deal out, and now she has a crown. But I'll let you in on a secret. She's got her eyes set on a much greater prize.
When I was 10 years old, bored with my lessons, I dreamed about sword fighting and sailing the ocean. Now I'm realizing that the world is stranger than I ever imagined. Everything I know has been turned on its head, but I'm dealing with it the best I can. When you look at the great jeweled map at Dunwall Tower, Karnaca is the southernmost port in the Empire. A fat, red ruby. That's how I always thought of it. Up close, the city smells like the ocean and strange spices. Up close, it's a tangled story of blood and ambition. The birthplace of my father. Megan Foster is a stranger, but there's something that makes me want to trust her, despite her guarded disposition. She got me out of Dunwall, and I need answers. Delilah and the Duke made me look like a murderer, using the Crown Killer to butcher my political adversaries. They took what was mine, and I'm gonna get it back.
Ja, Gitarre. Bullet Packs. Plus eine Kugel und sometimes supernatural powers consume no mana. So, Domino. Link human targets so they die or fall unconscious together. Vision. Shadow Walk. Doppelgänger. Okay. Far reach. Mesmerize. Summon a void spirit to enthrall humans. Wow. Strength, vitality, reflexes, agility, bloodthirst, bone charm crafting. Ooh. Okay, cool. Shadow Kill. Okay. Cool. So, und pull objects. If your following time is briefly slowed as you aim for each. Okay. Okay, Crafting, gerne. Reflexes block to deflect projectiles. Okay, cool. Ja, sieht ja interessant aus hier. Ja, nice. Okay, es scheint, als ob, ja, scheint auf den ersten Blick auf jeden Fall gute Fortsetzung zu sein zum ersten Teil. Interessante neue Mechaniken oder halt Kräfte und so Zeug. Crafting mit drin, auch ganz nett. Ja, bin gespannt und freue mich auf jeden Fall auch, dass man mal in Serkonos sind und halt nicht nur die ganze Zeit wie jetzt im ersten Teil in Dunwall und so. Ja, bin auf jeden Fall gespannt, wie es weitergeht.